We start the chapter off with Ego and Isagi being prepared to go on the elevator inside the Bluelock facility. Then Isagi is asking Ego, what do you want to talk about coming from last chapter when he was in the locker room? And while they're going up the elevator, Ego says, at the end of the game, what was your intent with that play? Isagi says, I was just trying to score my own goal. It felt like that obvious thing to do as a striker. And Isagi says, is Ego angry? Now first look, this elevator is crazy. It's like a full on sphere angle that has like see through glass, and it's crazy, bro. I didn't think Bluelock could have money like that. Next, Ego says, sure, the last play after victory was assured was good timing to test your new idea. Then he says, but making too many of those mistakes will create unrest among your teammates who have no choice but to follow up, and then discard will cause Bluelock formation and tactics to crumble. And saying that approach is just secondary weapon to use when you can. Don't prioritize methods you can't reproduce. Isagi says, okay, sorry, I get that. But coach, I feel like when I'm about to find the theory that will defeat Noah Noel and make me the world's best striker. Ego says, huh, that's why your soccer isn't enough for me. Which that's you're saying Ego, his soccer is that's it's under you now. Isagi had been back. He's already beat Ego Soccer, which is a crazy thing to say. Then Isagi says, wait, I had no idea we would get this up on the roof, which Ego saying it's just for emergencies, chill out. Isagi saying this is a good view. Then Ego saying, if that's the case, then tell me about this theory that surpasses mine. Huh? Well, it's not like I'm denying you, Ego. You know those compliments of super plays you sent me? When I watched those, I realized that however much they stretched my imagination, there was a limit to what I could achieve on my own, no matter how hard I try. Plus, fighting against players like Loki, Kaiser, and Linzo made me realize that even if I can win against them in matches or single plays, my abilities as an individual aren't even close to theirs. If I tried to beat Noah Noah in terms of physical abilities, it would be impossible, even if I got reincarnated a million times. But once I let that sink in and decide on to move on, I start to see that I'm lacking. I think people are either geniuses or learners. Isagi said it's not about which is better. Both types evolve through their mutual interactions. Saying when a genius and a learner are properly balanced, if they keep competing with one another in the flow state, then their growth potential is unlimited. So that's why I need to keep the ultimate learner that Rin and Botch know that all the geniuses in Bluelock want to surpass. So keep giving me new kinds of soccer. I'll show you I can become the best in the world. Ego says, hey, Isagi, do you think there's a god of soccer? Isagi says, huh? You mean like Zico or Maradona? Ego says, no, I mean something unscientific and intangible, which first, now we're being a god of soccer. Like, what do you mean a god of soccer? Why don't you just say like the best striker? But a god of soccer is that's the man. Bluelock is this is going beyond soccer now. Isagi says, I don't follow. Why is the logical Ego talking about this? At the extremity of thought and effort, mind and body become one. Luck, the environment, everything goes your way, and you feel guided towards your destiny by something outside yourself. When I was an active player, I encountered it, which we get this panel of, I think it's probably, it looks like Isagi, but it might just be younger Ego. It might be him when he was a player, and you seen this winged bird or this animal which looks like they got 3 legs and 2 arms. Unless, yeah, something weird going on, but it's winged for sure. And I think that's the god of soccer he's talking about. And he says, for 7 minutes I encountered something I never had before or since. And Eagle says, and I can only explain my level of performance at the time as the workings of some invisible power. Isagi says, is that different from the flow state or luck formula? Eagle says, those are just concepts I've developed to study and reproduce that experience. Now answer me, Isagi, do you think there's a god of soccer? Isagi freezes, and then he says, if that's invisible power is thanks to God, then yeah, I think there is one. When I came to Blue Lock, I met Botcher right away as soon as I got into the facility. And at the very end of U20 Japan, the ball came right to me. There was also the last goal of the new Eagles League. I feel like in those moments, there is a god of soccer, was telling me to set my sights on becoming the world's best striker. Ego says, I see, maybe so. Isagi says, hey, Ego, let me ask you something. When you were active, what kind of player were you? Ego freezes. Ego says, just like you, I was a dreamer with a head full of ideas. Then Ego says, but the god doesn't visit me anymore. I quit soccer when I realized that. Ah, I said too much, says Ego. Okay, this chat is over. Let's go back. Then please watch me, coach. I'm gonna go meet the god of soccer. This egoist you birth is gonna fulfill your dream. Which, I mean, so that's why Ego quit, because the god that visited him regularly just stopped visiting him, and he realized he can't do it. So was he nothing without that god of soccer behind him, or did he just stop caring because he didn't feel like it was worth playing for anymore? And now Isagi's going to step up to meet this god of soccer that Ego once met, and I would love to see more of Ego's backstory. I think that picture with the bird, I think that's how Ego or Isagi. I can't tell because it had number 11, but maybe that's the god of soccer he's talking about. Honestly, like that could be younger Ego or could be Isagi before. Um, that's all for this chapter. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace.